Gentlemen, tonight on Green Fix, we explore the balance of urban development and environmental protection of both Karura and Ngong Road forests. Environmental lobby groups, including Greenpeace Africa and Greenbelt Movement, are calling for alternative options of transport infrastructure development that will not see the degradation of forests.
It is 3 p.m. The traffic flow along Kiambu Road Wayleave from Muthaiga heading to Kiambu Town is minimal. On one side of the road, Karura Forest Reserve showcases its picturesque view, with the trees in their varying sizes and types swaying with the command of the wind. However, during peak hours or when an accident occurs, the heavy traffic flow seemingly dampens the picturesque view of lush vegetation, with constant hooting renting the air. According to the Kenya National Highways Authority, KENHA, hourly traffic flows peak between 4 p.m. to 5 p.m. with the highest two-directional hourly flow of about 1,824 vehicles being recorded along the Thika Road Northern Bypass section. To alleviate this traffic congestion, KENHA in 2018 hired APE Consortium and SPAN engineers to prepare a feasibility study for the development of Muthaiga Kiambu Ndumberi Road B32 into a dual carriage B52/C558. The two consultancy firms began conducting public participation fora from 18th June to 16th July of 2019 in different locations, majorly in Kiambu County. In the conclusive Environmental and Social Impact Assessment Report of 2020, KENHA, in collaboration with APEC and SPAN engineers, highlighted that members of the public had stressed that Karura Forest should not be acquired for the construction of the road. According to the assessment report, the sensitivity of the Directorate of Criminal Investigations installations had to be considered in moving the road design towards Karura Forest. Further, DCI state that, and I quote, they requested for a buffer zone between the boundary wall of the facility and the edge of the main highway of 30 to 40 meters. Their view was that part of the road should be ceded from Karura Forest. End of quote. This proposed expansion, which has 5 alternative routes to diffuse traffic and 5 bypass options that have been considered, will see the hiving off of Karura Forest.
What that commercial enterprise is.
Okay.
Yeah.
A move that has raised eyebrows among environmentalists, including Greenpeace Africa and Greenbelt Movement, who fault KENHA's proposal to excise 51.64 acres of this forest.
We pursued this matter directly with the government agencies. We did not get what we felt was satisfactory answers into the decision that was made and what was weighed into coming to this decision. The second issue for us is the fact that the government intends to excise nearly 52 acres from the forest. That is the equivalent of 29 football fields.
In this letter dated 21st August 2024, the Chief Conservator of Forest at the Kenya Forest Service, Alex Lemarkoko, wrote to the Kenya National Highways Authority KENHA Director General Kungundungu, detailing that, following a meeting held on the 26th of March 2024 by the Kenya Forest Service Board of Directors, KFS had considered and approved the request for 51.64 acres wayleave in Karura Forest for dualling in Kiambu Road. In the letter, Lemarkoko further detailed that the approval is subject to payment of all outstanding fees for previous approvals granted. Nyaguthi Shege, the chair of the board of directors of Greenbelt Movement, which is the lead petitioner in case number E042 of 2024 in the Environment and Land Code, explains that Greenbelt's decision to proceed to court to seek orders prohibiting the dualling of Kiambu Road as well as construction of an abolition block and recreational facility was to prevent the degradation of Karura Forest.
Greenbelt heard about the proposed expansion through a whistleblower. And when we received copies of documentation from a concerned citizen, we got in touch with government officials to try and find out whether indeed this documentation was credible, whether it was valid, and whether there was any truth to the allegation that this was proposed. We did not get adequate responses from the government. We engaged also the Ombudsman in order to assist us to get information, and even then we hit essentially a dead end.
It's not for me to make. But you cannot be an environmentalist and be part of us and be part of our board, and you can raise all this, but you have your cake and eat it. You can go to court and sue us. So you have to choose.
In January 2025, the immediate former CS Environment Aiden Duale said that without proper public participation, the expansion of the road will not take place.
Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you too.
Amos Wemanya, the responsive campaign lead for Greenpeace Africa, however says that cutting down trees to expand the road should not be an alternative.
The reason we have high traffic on Kiambu Road is our public transport has failed, and everyone now is running to buy a second-hand car from Japan so that they can be able to move around. Why can't we have proper mass transport systems, rail lines running through the city, so that we avoid this thing of motorization? And how many highways are we going to build if everyone here in Nairobi is going to buy their own cars?
Details of a question and answer session held on the 18th of June 2019 at Ridgeways in Kiambu County, as indicated in the assessment report prepared by Kenha, EPE Consortium and SPAN engineers, also show that the three entities at the time were cognizant of the fact that hiving off part of Karura forest will be complicated, since the forest is gazetted as a natural resource.
Any climate scientist who you will speak to, they will tell you that it's not a one-for-one. Planting a tree to quote-unquote replace the trees that have been lost, it's not a one-for-one.
Greenpeace Africa, Greenbelt Movement, together with other environmental lobby groups in December 2024, had a sigh of relief following a ruling by conservatory orders that were issued by Honorable Justice Omolo, prohibiting the dualling of the road pending hearing and determination of the motion. Same script, different cast is playing out kilometers away in Ngong Road Forest, which is managed by the Kenya Forest Service and Ngong Road Forest Association, a community forest association formed under the Forest Act of 2005. Heavy trucks are turning, scooping soil where trees once stood high and mighty, in what will see the proposed Lenana station come to life. This 8 billion cash shillings project that was commissioned by President William Ruto on 15th of December 2023 is expected to reduce traffic congestion along Ngong Road. In a statement in February 2025, Kenya Forestry Service confirmed that it had granted an early entry to the Ngong Road Forest to Kenya Railways Corporation for the construction of a meter gauge railway.
And it's not just the case of Karura and Kiambu Road. I've talked about Ngong Road rail line. It's coming from Riruta. And the community around there is saying we have shopping centers along the southern bypass. Why can't this rail line follow the southern bypass routing rather than hiving a forest? In any case, no one lives in Ngong Road Forest.
According to the Environmental and Social Impact Assessment Report 2024, members of the public also raised possible alternative routes for the project, including prioritizing the dualling of Ngong Road from the current shopping center.
In terms of development, we are not against development, but we have engaged Kenya Railways and other partners on alternative routes to be considered for the railway so that we avoid the destruction of the forest. And we have given them those alternative routes to consider, but we are being told that they can't work, and even the public participation to tell us that it does not work is not clear to us. That engagement is not there.
However, according to the Kenya Railways Corporation, the project is an alternative transport system for residents of Karen, Ngong, Kiserian and Ongata Rongai.
As we see, when this project continues to be rolled out in this manner, number one, the forest coverage, when there are alternative routes, this could be avoided, and then therefore it has an effect on the biodiversity of the area.
This is the Riruta-Ngong meter gauge railway commuter project. According to the Kenya Forestry Service, there will be a rehabilitation plan to ensure that the trees cut in this particular development plan are not degraded. But conservationists argue otherwise.
So it's always better to follow the precautionary principle, which is what guides us. That is in our laws. The precautionary principle says that if there will be, and this is a core principle of sustainability, if there will be significant damage that will be done to the environment that will be almost irreversible or irreversible, then it's important to look for the choice that will cause the least impact, both now and in the future. And that is what we should be thinking about. What alternatives do we have?
Stanley Nyeringita, TV 47.